This is your HNL report on the Detroit Red Wings from Michael DEVELLANO. Here we are after a weekend where we saw the Detroit Red Wings in a preseason game versus a little bit of a skinny, well, it wasn't too bad. I guess it is what it is, Chicago Blackhawks team. Great game for Lucas Raymond as the Red Wings win 3-0 in this game. Nedeljkovic and Kosa combined for the shutout. And Raymond was just masterful. He set up the first goal by Jakub Vrana. We saw again Vrana with quick release, accurate shot. This guy's going to load up the net. It's going to be really interesting to see if Derek Lalonde mixes up those lines and has Raymond with Vrana or Zadina. Really good game from Raymond, though. He gets another assist on the second goal and then scores the third himself. He can really shoot the puck himself. It's just going to be really interesting to see. I think Raymond looks like he's better than last year. We know he had a bit of a dip, maybe about after the 55, 60 game mark. He never played 80 games before, but man, he looks great so far. So let's hope that he continues to show this type of flash in the regular season. So a good win for the Red Wings on Saturday night versus Chicago Blackhawks. Not much to report from the Blackhawks. They were not the greatest lineup. I think they had Carpenter matched up all night on the first line. That being said, Joe Veleno made his debut as well, so that was good to see him out there. He looks a little bit lighter and faster. I think he's going to be a real good player. He can shoot the puck and skate. And I know there was always so much hype up because he was like exceptional player status and first overall in the queue when he was young. And he's just a guy that was physically mature at a young age. But, man, he complements really better players around him. He can play with anybody on this team. And I think he's going to have more offense than people think. So I'd be shocked to not see him have a great second year here. Well, it's kind of not his second, it is third. But he had 8 goals last year. I wouldn't be surprised to see him get a 12 or 15-goal season and keep improving. All right, so tonight is the second preseason game versus the Pittsburgh Penguins. The last Penguins matchup we saw they had Evgeny Malkin and they had Sidney Crosby in that lineup. By the way, 3-0 win for the Red Wings, as I mentioned, on Saturday night versus Chicago. This was the shots on goal. Well, 35-21 for the Red Wings. This kind of tells the tale. Oh, interesting, again, 57% for the Chicago Blackhawks in the faceoff circle. That was kind of surprising. I don't know what that's all about. A lot less power plays against the Red Wings than the prior game where they had like 9. They were 9 power plays against them. It was crazy against the Pens game. We also know that they had lost 2-0 against Washington. That was kind of a throwaway game. One thing about this team overall, a lot better defensively. I think that was part of the goal coming in. I think the changes are showing up. The changes in personnel with the new guys are all, I think, a big step up over last year's defense core. So that's good news. As I mentioned, Jakub Vrana and Dylan Larkin get goals, both assisted on by Lucas Raymond. Then Raymond got his first goal of the preseason, but basically a 3-point night on a 3-0 win. It's pretty good. Kosa had played 1 period. He was 5 for 5, and Nedeljkovic was 8 for 8. So not a lot of offense. Well, actually, I guess it's 7 for 7 and 14 for 14 if you count in special teams power plays. All right, well, that was a good game for the Red Wings, but not much exciting going on in Chicago this year. So then tonight, 7:30 p.m. Eastern, game day, Detroit versus Penguins. What are we going to see? We're going to see Tyler Bertuzzi make his season debut, the great toothless one. We know that he wasn't able to play in Canada last year because of his refusal to get the COVID vaccination. However you pronounce that. I don't want to get banned here by the AI. But that was the big thing with Tyler last year. Wasn't able to play in Canadian games. He started the camp with an undisclosed injury, but he will make his debut tonight. So is this game 4 of the preseason or 5? Might be 5. So they had 2 against Chicago, 1 against Pittsburgh, and then they played Washington. So this is game 5 tonight against the Pens again, right? Wow. All right. So he makes his debut. Good thing they have 8 preseason games. They'll give him some reps. He missed all the camp, so that wasn't great news. But this is all positive news as the leading goal scorer. I think 2 of the last seasons where it was by Tyler Bertuzzi. So he's an important player in Detroit. Going to be interesting, though. If you start looking at the forward lineups with the additions of Kubalik, Soderblom looks great. We added David Perron, Jakub Vrana, obviously healthy at the beginning of the season. You already got Lucas Raymond up there. It's starting to get pretty packed on the forward lines, even down the middle, but also on the wings. Like you're looking at maybe having to put Soderblom, who looks like he can play top 2 minutes right now. He's a monster and with good hands. Who doesn't want that? But he might get bumped down to the 4th line the way it is right now. So lots of depth on Detroit's lines, especially with Bertuzzi coming back. You can just see what Bertuzzi's longevity in Detroit is, though, after all this. All right, so the lineup tonight versus Pittsburgh, we see a return. Filip Zadina's had a great camp. He's had a great preseason game so far. He looks really dynamic offensively. Let's hope that continues to translate into points and leading to the season. I'd be shocked if it doesn't. Jakub Vrana looks great. Lucas Raymond, as I mentioned, looks great. Pius Suter, I think he's going to be hard-pressed to get time on this team. Like, he's looked good, but, it's starting to run out of room here. And Michael Rasmussen is a monster down the middle. He looks like he should be able to anchor the second line. But, with Andrew Kopp coming back, do you put Rasmussen on the 4th line or the 3rd line? Like, that seems like a waste. He's fast and big and got good hands. Jonathan Berggren's look great, and that's made a real log jam. Like, how do you start the season without Jonathan Berggren on the big club? He has nothing left to prove in the AHL. So we got some good players here in tonight's game. David Perron, we get to see him again. He looked great in the prior games. As I mentioned, number 59, but number 1 in your heart, Tyler Bertuzzi making his debut tonight, and his running mate, Dylan Larkin, the captain. He's out there. Kubalik's had a really good camp, and he's looked good in preseason games, including getting a 2-goal game. And Joe Veleno's looked good. And then on defense, we're going to get to see Simon Edmondson tonight. Oli Mata returns. Philip Roenick, Ben Sherratt, Gustav Lindstrom, and New Power is hanging out, but I think he's going to be in the AHL eventually. And Moritz Seider. So this is a pretty stacked lineup for Detroit. Ville Husso's look great as well. So everything's looking great in the preseason. Obviously, it's preseason. So what are we going to say? I'm not sure. We have to take a look at who Pittsburgh's dressing tonight, but right now, this is a pretty stacked lineup for Detroit. Not much missing there. All right, so who do you think will win? What do you think the score will be tonight? We'll check in after, and we'll try to give an update on the results of the game tomorrow, but looking forward to seeing this game against the Penguins. And we should be coming down to waiver cuts pretty soon. Let's see, Detroit waivers. Has there been transactions? Because I was looking through waivers, and I don't see a lot of changes yet on the Red Wings roster, although Hellberg, I think, was picked up by Ottawa. So is that off of Detroit? So let's see who they moved. Oh, they did make some moves. Hold on. Well, let's not miss the waiver moves. Okay, we're going to remove that, and we are going to let's take a look here. Okay, so Chase Pearson he passes through waivers. He sent to Grand Rapids. Jake Wallman placed on IR. We know Robbie Fabry remains IR, but not a lot of moves here. So this is interesting. Tyler Spezia has got a bunch of time. So we really haven't seen big transactions. I don't know what's going on. I thought they would have cut down by now by quite a bit. There's quite a few guys still hanging out. So what am I missing here? Geez, that doesn't seem like, I thought there was some changes, but not really much, is there? All right, we'll keep an eye out, and we'll see what the transactions are. They've got to be coming soon. We're starting to see waiver cuts for other teams. Excuse me. So you will see Detroit making cuts soon, I'm pretty sure. But there's going to be some tough decisions because there's guys that you like Giovanni Smith. Will he make the team even? I hope he does. Adam Ernie, I don't have a lot of time for him. I think that I would rather have Giovanni Smith than Adam Ernie, but they might decide otherwise. Pius Suter's can be interesting to see. Does he stick around? I think he's really useful, but it's not obvious that he's going to be better than Elmer Soderblom. So I think they're going to have some really tough decisions here. It's going to be really interesting. Very good competitive camp. Does this translate to wins in the regular season? Maybe. We're going to find out. It's still early, so let's hope so. Let's go Red Wings, and we will see you on the next HNL Detroit Red Wings